Hello, dear listeners, and welcome to the Pontani Pages, an auditory salon of ideas, conversation, provocation, and especially revelation. Today, my partner in this illuminating exchange is the lovely and multi-talented Miss Hogan Gorman. Hogan got her career start as a fashion model, occupying the runways and photo studios of Milan, Paris, and London before switching to her true love, acting. However, as she was just finding her feet in that world, Hogan was seriously injured in a car accident on March 4th, 2004, while crossing the street in downtown Manhattan. Uninsured at the time and with hardly any savings, Hogan spent the next several years navigating a Kafkaesque universe filled with antagonistic doctors, apathetic social workers, and a legal system stacked against the victim. It's a world that most people are fortunate to never encounter, but the many who do are more often than not poor, disenfranchised, and lacking a voice with which to protest such injustices. Hogan has since recovered enough of her health to continue her career and has adapted her experiences into an award-winning play and now a sensational book. Both are entitled Hot Cripple, an incurable smartass takes on the healthcare system and lives to tell the tale. Hogan, welcome to the Pontani Pages.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, and I'm sorry for that long-winded intro, but there's a lot to say about you. So let's start off with what you went through, if you can just kind of describe the night of the accident and how that went down.
Okay, well, as you said, I was am an actress, but at that time I was also waitressing, as most actresses in New York, and I was working at a nightclub, and I was walking to work to the nightclub and crossing the street, and I was hit by a car going about 40 miles an hour. My head took out the entire windshield of their car, and then they slammed on the brakes, and I went flying about 10 feet. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, and I was taken to the emergency room via ambulance, but once they discovered I didn't have health insurance, I was basically ignored. I had to beg for a CAT scan in my head, and the man in the bed next to me, who had only fainted during dinner, but who had insurance, his CAT scan was fine. He was kept overnight for observation, and I was released with a neck brace and a good luck.
Well, thank God for him. It must have been terrible for him to faint like that.
I know.
So when you left the hospital, did you have an idea of what your injuries were, or was it just okay?
Well, I was still in shock, actually. When something like that happens, you are in shock, and that's probably the only thing, that makes you survive something like that. But over the next few days, it became apparent how truly injured I was. The bruises started coming out. I was having problems with my memory, problems with my vision. I was in constant pain. Had one incident of getting stuck on the toilet for about 3 hours.
I read about that.
Yeah,
I hate to say I was laughing at it, but I was laughing at that.
Sexy look, getting stuck on the toilet. And after that, I tried to call, doctors to get medical attention, and nobody would see me because I had no insurance until I found a lawyer first to be covered by something called no fault, which covers people hurt in accidents up to a certain amount of money. So that I had to find a lawyer before I could see a doctor.
And so what were your injuries at that? I mean, clearly you had a concussion, which is serious business, number one.
Yeah, I had a really severe concussion. So my short-term memory was shot for almost 2 years, vision problems, balance problems, and then it herniated 5 discs between my neck and lower back. Which caused constant pain and numbness and sometimes paralysis in my limbs. And then it tore 2 ligaments in my knee and a chunk off the back of my kneecap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Well, okay. This is all terrible, but let's talk about the book a second. I love the book, and I think it's important to give the listeners a sense of not only the tragedy, but the humor that you maintained while recounting these events and living through them. So I was hoping that you could read an excerpt, and then we'll kind of move forward from there.
Oh, okay.
And so I just want to preface this by saying that you give a lot of people in the book nicknames that I love and I think add to the humor of it as well. Like Legal Eagle, as you call him, is a lawyer who has agreed to take your case on against this person who hit you for a deferred fee because he and his partners think that you have a strong case. So they turn out to be some of the only people in the book who are really helpful here.
Yeah. So. And all the doctors have nicknames too.
I love it. I was chuckling at all of them. So I'd love to hear the excerpt you're going to read.
Okay. I guess I should preface this with saying, this is started my downward spiral into, welfare, so to speak. So this happens. I've maxed out my credit cards, gone through all my savings, Just applied for food stamps, and now I'm applying for Social Security disability. Now that I've gotten food stamps out of the way, it's time to do that other thing that Legal Eagle told me to do, apply for Social Security disability. You can't apply until you have been injured or sick and unable to work for 6 months. Some days it seems like the accident happened only yesterday. Other days it seems like I've been dealing with this shit for years. But in reality, it's been 6 months, and it just seems to be getting funner by the second. Legal Eagle told me that most people hire a lawyer who specializes in disability cases to help navigate the labyrinth of Social Security. Of course, they're on the take just like everybody else. The loan sharks companies that charge up to 100% interest, the personal injury lawyers that take 1/3 of your settlement, and now the Social Security disability lawyers that take 25% of what you're awarded in benefits. Everybody just seems to be getting ahead while I'm just trying to survive. Screw that. I'll apply for Social Security on my own. Appropriately dressed in a t-shirt that reads Bush & Sons Incorporated, formerly known as the USA, I walk into the Social Security office and manage to find a seat in between a 300-pound woman with an oxygen tank and a man who keeps hitting himself in the head while he recites the alphabet. It's the only seat in the crowded waiting room, so I'm just going to have to live with the ABCs and pray that this guy doesn't get bored of his head and start hitting mine. Hi, Hogan. I thought that was you, a woman says, approaching me. She used to teach a yoga class that I took, but I can't remember her name. Not shocking, since it's an effort to remember my own name these days. God, this place is a zoo. I've been waiting for an hour, she says, doing a visual scan of the room. I think she's trying not to stare at ABC Man, but that's going to be next to impossible, even for a yogi. I got my wallet stolen last week, and I need to get a new Social Security card. I don't want to tell her why I'm here. I don't want to talk about the accident. I don't want to talk about all my injuries, and I don't want her pity. Not that I get a chance to refuse to tell her all these things, since she doesn't even ask what I'm doing here. Oh, that's my number, she says, looking at the digital board. Well, it was great seeing you. She puts her hands together, bows her head slightly, and says, Namaste, before she walks away. I hate these government offices. I hate asking for help. I hate that I'm in constant pain. I hate that I have to beg for medical care and financial assistance, and I hate the guy that I suddenly hear coughing like a coal miner. I slowly look up to view the man seated in front of me, hacking his lungs out, and immediately I don't feel sorry for myself anymore. Every breath is an effort for him. Every inhale a labored wheeze, every exhale a meaty cough. He's a big man with kind eyes, a pale complexion, and a t-shirt that reads 9/11/2001, Gone but Not Forgotten, NYFD. He was probably one of the first responders, one of the guys lucky enough to live, one of the ones who stayed at Ground Zero for months, digging through the wreckage, because he believed in the value of human life and the land of the free and the home of the brave. And here he sits by me in a Social Security office, begging for a little help from the government of the country he helped to protect. I want to say something to him, thank him, or tell him that everything will be all right. But I can't even help myself right now, and at the moment, I'm not sure that anything will ever be all right for any of us again seated in this waiting room.
Okay, so in that excerpt, you had at least 3 stories there, probably more, but that was just one excerpt. There's a story about the healthcare system, the legal system, the social services system these are supposed to be people's last resource when everything else has gone wrong for them. Did you know about these worlds before your accident?
I didn't know anything.
So this was totally like a new and terrible territory for you.
Oh, yeah. I went all the way down the rabbit hole.
And
blindfolded.
It's a deep and dark rabbit hole. And going down it, especially you're here alone, really, doing all of this by yourself. What did you discover about it other than, the obvious things? But, I mean, I'm sure you must have been shocked by the...
I was shocked. I was shocked at what a labyrinth it actually is, quite frankly. And the fact that so many Americans are going through it, and most of them are, injured or sick or just destitutely poor. And this is just another thing that they have to navigate this system that isn't really set up in a way where that is paint by numbers, so to speak.
It's kind of like climbing an avalanche.
Yeah, it can be very confusing, especially when you're, sick or injured or, something like that.
No, absolutely. I've seen the waiting rooms. I can imagine.
Yeah, the waiting rooms are fun.
It's kind of amazing. And sitting there for 3 hours, which is just standard.
That's the average wait.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
God. So you're performing your one-woman show, which was phenomenally received, and the country's in the midst of this giant debate over healthcare. So the timing is kind of really, great for the content of the book. And it was released recently, the book. So I'm thinking, has something's changed at least? Things are changing in the healthcare system.
Things are changing. I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. There are a lot of people that would like to undo the Affordable Healthcare Act. And we'll see what happens. This is going to be a very interesting year.
Yeah, well, and certainly I think one of the biggest things, especially for someone in your situation, is the pre-existing condition clause. And this is a situation that was supposed to be addressed under Obama's healthcare reform. And we're sitting here having this conversation. It's April 2012 right now, and the Supreme Court is deciding whether or not to overturn that legislation because it might be unconstitutional,
right?
To insist that everyone get health care. How tragic.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, in 2014, adults with pre-existing conditions are supposed to be able to be covered, and that would be very nice.
Now, how does it personally make you feel, or how do you make sense of it? Because I think I would be like in a constant state of rage.
I just not in a constant state of rage. It's just in a constant state of, God, how can you be so ignorant to think that we don't need this in this country? Because we're the only country now that, doesn't have it.
Yeah,
even South Africa's figured it out. And it's like, seriously, this is America.
Oh no, I just got back from Italy last week, and I got a pretty serious 2nd-degree burn when I was over there, and I kind of was like, oh crap, and my hosts over there were like, come on. And I went and I saw a doctor, and I got prescription medication, and I got bandaged up, and it took 15 minutes, and I was like, are you serious?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
And having gone through it, you're kind of you're an expert on it now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay, so Hogan, you talk about fashion a lot in your book, and it wouldn't make any sense to have you on the Pontani pages and not talk about clothes.
Fashion.
Yeah. I love fashion and I love clothes, and while we were waiting to record today, we talked a lot about vintage, what I love as well. And when I was reading your book and I was reading the scene where you had to sell some of your clothes.
Oh yeah, that was dark day.
I can understand that would be a very dark day to have to kind of part with some of your treasured items, but has this whole process kind of changed your relationship with clothing and designers and how you feel about that? Or
I mean, like we were talking about in the waiting room, I do buy more, instead of designers now, I buy more vintage.
Yeah.
I buy, clothes from the 50s and the 60s because you can get a vintage dress that nobody else has and is beautiful and mint condition for less than a dress at H&M.
Yeah, and and it's fantastic and it's unique.
And nobody else has it.
And you're an actress, so I know for myself as being a performer too, it's like I dress up every single day because it makes me happy and it makes me feel good. And
you're the lead in your own movie.
Well, and you are, after all, the guy on the street said it is a hot cripple. But yeah, I'm into clothes very much, and I think that you have a very fabulous outfit on today too.
Thank you.
I love the nautical red and whites. We always like to describe people's outfits here.
This is vintage.
Is it real? I thought it was vintage. It's got
vintage.
like a really 60s, like that little turtleneck, and I love that fabric.
I got it at the vintage fair.
Did you?
The raincoat too.
Is the raincoat vintage?
It's dead stock from the 70s.
It's a beautiful light blue, fabulous raincoat. I loved it. I was admiring the stitching when I saw you walking up to the studio. So going back to the accident and stepping away from fashion for a little bit, but what are the long-term health repercussions that you have to deal with now?
Well, I still have the 5 herniated discs between my neck and lower back, and I did have surgery on my knee. My brain is back to normal blonde status. And, it took a while, but it's back.
Thank God you have this sense of humor, man. I think that must really have saved you.
It was the only thing that wasn't injured in the accident, quite frankly.
Yeah, but it's a real blessing to be able to go through something as horrible and hideous as this and really come out of it beautiful and happy and able to kind of make such an amazing thing out of it.
Thanks.
Sense of humor will save
yeah,
you
it's the only thing that keeps
day.
you going. But I do have to stay on top of the back. You know, I've turned more to an Eastern approach to medicine. So I have a non-aggressive chiropractor that works on my back. There's no cracking or anything. And I go to the gym about 5 days a week and do my physical therapy exercises.
And are you still like really limited in the amount of like physicality that you
Yeah, I mean, I can't play sports anymore. I used to love to run. I can't run anymore. I can't lift anything really heavy, but you know, I'm a hell of a lot better than I was. And you know, I go to the gym and do my physical therapy exercises on one of those balls, and it looks like I'm actually having sex with the ball rather than strengthening my back, but I'm strengthening my back.
Well,
I'm glad very popular at the gym.
I'm sure. I can imagine that it would. You better stay away from my gym. I don't think that they could handle that out in South Brooklyn. They might lose their minds. But no, I don't want to give away too much of the story, obviously, and what happens. But when we were coming here today, I didn't know how you were going to roll in here, if you were going to be in a walker or something like that.
To look at me now, you'd never know this ever happened to me.
Not in a million years. Thank God. And I also don't want to give away too much of the story, but it seems like there was no compensation made from the driver or the owners of the car that hit you to address like this long-term effects that you might have, which can ultimately
read the book.
Yeah, you do have to read the book. I mean, you really do. And I mean, I think that it's just amazing that you were able to go through this experience and write this book and bring so many things to light. So people, you actually really do need to read this book as soon as possible.
Please.
Yes, thank you. Well, Hogan, thank you so much for coming onto the show and sharing this story with us. It's truly inspirational and in a very authentic sense. And I can't recommend the book Hot Cripple enough. It's heartbreaking and it's hilarious, which is a pretty rare thing. And it also gives many of us a sense of what people go through and what the stakes are all about. You hear politicians and pundits on the news talking about healthcare reform and social services and all this stuff, but it's not just numbers or people who are lazy or something. I mean, what happened to you can happen to anybody, but it took someone like you to really craft this experience into a story that everyone can relate to. So thank you for doing that.
Thanks.
Making the world a better place.
And more fashionable.
Yes, absolutely. Which is also very important. And that's it for this week's edition of the Pontani Pages, hot off the press with Hot Cripple, Hogan Gorman. This is your hostess, Angie Pontani, signing off. And you can find links to Hogan's work and more podcasts at pontanipages.wordpress.com. And you can email the show through the pontanipages@gmail.com. Remember to stay safe out there, dear listeners, and always come back for more.